All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Damage Control. This is Mookie. I'm joined here with Darth, and we have a lot to talk about. There's a lot of news things developing here on the Marvel Strike Force that we want to discuss. Primarily, we're going to go heavy on the blog post with a lot of just different topics that are coming down, which the main ones can be that Cosmic Crucible. But we'll also kind of talk about the recent events that's been going on with the Madeline Pryor, and just kind of take a look to see where we're at in the milestones. So with that being said, let's go ahead and introduce Darth. How's it going, Darth?
It's going good. Good morning, everybody. Everybody.
Good morning, and happy Mother's Day again out there to your family, Darth, and to everybody else that's watching. So,
Thank you.
I've done this music here. One of the things I always forgot to do, I just got to get myself into the zone here a little bit. Been able to see that too much, right? I always forget to hit that little plug there. But let's before we get into the blog post, I want to go ahead and just jump into this particular event that's going on right now with the Goblin Queen, because I want to kind of see where you're at with this one, Darth. I mean, what milestone are you at?
38.
You're already at 38?
I've been... Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so you're on pace then for completing it to 40?
Yeah, it's... see, when a content creator says it's not free to play, at least the other content creators, that means that it's not free to play for them at this point because they're not willing to grind their face off for this event. And this is one of those events that I like, because you can grind your face off for this event. 14 war attacks and 8 rotations a day are getting me to where I am now, basically.
Nice. Okay.
And they're not hard concentrated rotations. They're quick rotations. They're no-look rotations where you just go through and it doesn't matter what the opposing team army, you're doing it 39 times and you're just doing it 39 auto battles and seeing what you can get. Yeah. But my grand total points is 92,455.
Yeah, I've been trying to do the same approach. I just haven't been completing the full runs. I mean, so you're basically completing it where you're already like on cooldown at the end of the day for your Blitz rotations?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, see, and I know I'm leaving some runs still available, and that's kind of where I'm at on this 35 mark. The big one right here. I mean, if you get that milestone 40, is that going to up her another star level for you? Or where do you think you'll end with the star level for Pryor?
If I get all of those shards available right there, I'm going to be 18 shards short of 5-star.
Okay. That's not bad. I'm just trying to pull up that roster here. Now, talking about this lineup here, when you face them on the war defense, I mean, do they seem too different for you? Or you, I mean, like for me, I don't see much of a difference because I'm going in with the Secret Avengers. I mean, I think Kestro is kind of the big counter off of this squad. I've seen people but I mean, how do you feel when you match them up? What's your thought process?
So basically the same thing you said. I look at the strife, and if it's a huge strife, I think about it harder than I do without, because if you don't remove that taunt from that strife with Kestrel's ultimate on turn 1, it can be a problem. But if you can, kill Madeline Pryor. If you kill Madeline Pryor, it's an old Emirata battle, and it's not a big deal.
Okay.
I see people thinking they can take Black Order in against it and losing sometimes. I've seen more action on my Emirata team than I have personally on my own offense.
Yeah. Have you taken, are this part of your rotation now as far as teams that you're looking to start gearing up on, or is this kind of on the back burner?
My Marauders are all pretty high. 14s and 15s across the board. I'm not going to put any more into them. No, I've got Madeline Pryor at 85 with gear to 14, and they're all mutants, and so I've got no more mutant gear to spare right now.
Okay. Yeah, let me and just to wrap up the event, I mean, so we only have 3 days left for the Goblin Queen event. I mean, like you said, it's pretty much heavy on Blitz, and there's something that kind of ties into a little bit here, and I wanted to get your thoughts about this new Quick Rumble. What's your thoughts about how this came out? Surprised? Disappointed?
Disappointed is a really good way, because you have a leaderboard there for what? What the hell was that leaderboard for? There was no leaderboard prizes. There was garbage. There was. I mean, I need SBCs, but 150 SBCs or the 200 SBCs that they gave us is a drop in the damn bucket. Like, that's not enough SBCs to make up for the gold and the Blitz credits and the currency and everything else that we're missing out on in those milestone rewards. Like, yeah, you gave us some teal gear. Great. You gave us what, 6 pieces of teal gear? It's like 3 orbs or something like that. Like, they act like this, the 6 pieces of teal gear they gave us is worth all the stuff they took away for that one thing.
Yeah, no, it was disappointing. Here it is. This is rewards, like the original rewards where you kind of get like your golds when you're completing the rotations in the beginning on day 1. And then when we got off of that was the SBCs. And even at that, when they give it, does this even feel like a lot that they're giving you? What is it, 85?
That's what I said. So what is it? Is it only 85? See, I didn't even remember. I was giving them too much credit. I said it was 150 or 200, which is still nothing. So 85 is half of nothing, which is extra nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's not what they gave us is not enough to make up for what they took away. And there's no rewards at the end. There is no leaderboard rewards. So there went 100 shards and 950 elite red credits that they took, basically.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much that's missing from this stupid new Hydra Blitz, and then they act like they've done so. See, the crazy part to me is they act like they've done something by calling it the Hydra Blitz. That there's these great rewards if you can build up your specialized characters to do this stupid blitz, and there's nothing. There's no incentive to build those characters at all. Basically, that's a 2-day blitz to take off, get your milestones, and don't mess with it anymore. Unless there's an event like we're doing right now, which forces you to get 20 million a day for nothing. Like, there is no 1% rewards. There is no. It's kind of garbagey, and I don't like it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And it was funny because to that point, I saw someone on our team rank up their Hydra to the 7th star, and I was on the fence. My Hydra, I think I only have one character. It's the sniper one that's, right there, ready to be leveled up to a 7th star. And I'm glad I didn't push the 500,000 onto that because, like you said, you don't even need them that high to complete the event. But
you don't need him at all.
No.
You just do a normal blitz rotation without him. You could purposely skip them and complete all their milestones. There's no incentive to build them.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, but to kind of wrap up, I mean, to me, that was kind of a little bit twofold on because, you had to blitz to get the milestone credits here towards that, the Goblin Queen event right here. But I didn't even, it was pretty sad and disappointing. So I guess we'll just leave it at that. I hope that they start, at least at the very bare minimum, they have to give the same reward structure that they had on the second blitzes during the week, giving the gold, the character shards, something. I mean, because I was very disappointed on the rewards because, for me, I didn't need the SBCs. So when I saw that, I was like, man, that sucks. Like, yeah,
Right.
Yeah, it was just.
I'm not going to lie. I saw your 13,000 SBCs and thought about coming to robbing your house. But
So yeah, every day it's part of my apartment, man. I'm just always hitting it up, even though I'm at a good. I know they go away fast once you start gearing up, so I'm constantly farming them. All right, so then that's that with that event. This other one I kind of sneaked in here. I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked in too much into this whole A for Alliance one. I know I think Dell was kind of hitting up on it, which we had to do. It's like an ion spinning event, right? Let me see if I pull it up here. If I can find a shot.
And raids.
Yeah.
So it's raid attacks using Marauders and Darkhold.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So there's 2 folds. I mean, it's funny. This is the whole month-long one right here. I mean, as far as part of it. But there was this 7-day or 6-day for Alliance one where as an Alliance, we all had to go ahead and start spinning our ISO 8.
But there's more on that. Go to scoring. Oh, is that not it? That must be then that must be in the web milestone that I'm thinking of. That's what it is. Never mind.
Okay. Yeah.
The web milestone has the other one. Excuse me, I misspoke.
Okay. I need to check into that milestone. But yeah, and this one right here, I mean, I haven't calculated to see what we need to complete it as a team, if it's achievable or not.
We're good. Look we're at 17,000 points already, and we have like 4 guys with 0 points, and it's only a 100,000 point event. So if we do what we did for 5 days, we'll complete it. But we got 7 days to do it, so we're good.
All right. Okay. Cool. Well,
so I don't think we need to worry too much. Besides a slight reminder for guys to spin some cores to refresh their ions every once in a while.
Yeah. And I think this.
And the rewards aren't that. great.
No, but
Sucks.
it's just all about kind of getting those emblems right to the other bigger
Yeah.
monthly milestone. That's really what it's about. I mean, because I guess the big rewards to me are the blue ions,
Mm-hmm.
not the green. I don't care about the green, but yeah, the blue ones are it's kind of where you get some, and it's all tinkering towards which we'll touch on right here at the end about the blog post. But there is going to be some new ions that are going to start coming up to the level 4, and
Yeah.
so that's exciting stuff here to look into. And I'm trying to think, is there anything else in the past here to kind of go over? Don't believe so. But out of my own curiosity, have you ever updated all this yet for your Nowhere heist? Are you still on tier 6?
I'll be on tier 6 for a long time with the way the SBCs are rolling out right now.
Yeah, yeah,
It's a gear you got to make choices eventually, and the choice can be you can have everything, but you have to spend an absurd amount of money. So I'm not going to spend that absurd amount of money. So now I have to choose who and what I want to spend all those resources on, and for me they've really crunched it up. And the Nowhere event is just not worth it for all those SBCs to take the last 3 characters from 14 to 15 for me,
yeah. No,
because
yeah, that's a good point. I mean, because you have your hands full about characters you need to level up right now.
Exactly. Exactly. I have. We'll talk about it when we get there. But there's a list of characters now that came out this week that's just thrown off all of my plans for the next 2 months and has changed them drastically. So there are no more. There's no Nowhere heist in my future that's any more than collecting their level 6, 7 times every month.
Yeah, and actually, I'm gonna hit on that list a little bit here because I just have to kind of remind myself. I love these Sunday shows with you because it just kind of helps me stay focused on the path that I need to kind of gear up and what's on the horizon. So, I'm gonna go through the list as far as I guess it's in alphabetical order, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna talk about the A-Force event. A-Force team. So, well, there's okay.
7
Hold
rank
on.
Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
Ow.
So we got A-Force that came out. We just kind of briefly talked about that updated Marauder squad, but I'm with you. That's kind of already been an upgraded team. It's just really trying to focus how high you want to get Madeline Pryor up to them. For everybody personally. So they're I'll skip over that team. But then we got the Wakandans that kind of got the rework going on. Young Avengers is on the horizon about the Pestilence or the next Scourge event. So let's see, we had A-Force, Wakanda. I would put Young Avengers on the list. And maybe Inhumans could be on the list. We'll look at them for a little bit. Am I missing? Is there like a 5th team?
For me, it's basically down to 3, 4. I'm thinking Unlimited X-Men is my last one, but that's not till the end of the patch.
Okay. Yeah, so let's take a look at this squad first. So, A-Force team, the reason why I don't want to say that they're a big deal, but I guess in a way, number one for you, I know they're a big deal. We talked about it because you love War. They're part of the War offensive team. Now, have you kind of tinkered with them a little bit? I know they're short 2 characters, but how have you been kind of using, like, what setup do you use for your current A-Force in War?
Right now, I'm running them with Shuri and a tank usually, like Drax or Red Guardian. So basically, and I'm not taking anything huge with them. The 3 A-Force members are about 100k a piece, so I'm just going in against the Guardians or something that somebody's got as a filler team right now because I don't have the full team. I'm not quite sure how it works yet, and I'm just looking to maximize the milestone points with my war attacks. So I have to make sure that of my 14 war attacks I'm taking right now, one of them has to be with all of my A-Force members, and one of them has to be with Darkhold, so that I can achieve those rewards we were talking about earlier, free to play. But I haven't been scared. It's not like I thought I was going to lose any of those matches that I took. I think they're going to be awesome.
Yeah, they seem pretty awesome. They have a pretty cool little attack order as far as where Spider-Woman puts defensive down, and I'm trying to remember. And then of course Jessica Jones with her.
Jessica Jones goes first, yeah. Sets out a vulnerable.
Yep.
And then you put Stryker, which you should definitely have Stryker on Spider-Woman.
Yeah,
because she puts defense down on her basic. So then because you're not going to start with your basic, so you ultimate or you special into the person with vulnerable. You do your big damage thing, and then you ping him with your basic attack, and they put defense down on him, and then Captain Marvel goes and deletes him.
Yeah, they're interesting. one of the things I was looking at, and I haven't jumped back into, I think I jumped into a Discord asking a question about this basic here for Jessica Jones about generating ability energy, for a random defender and an A-Force. It says each attack has a 50% chance to generate one ability energy. Oh, or something here, but it's like saying for each attack, since each attack has a 50% chance to generate the ability energy. So I was like wondering if you put the striker and she gets a double tap on that striker, if vulnerable is up, is that like another chance? But
No,
it doesn't. Yeah, I
no.
tested
I've actually
it.
she does not on her striker attack. She does not generate a bonus energy.
Yeah.
So she's really good as skirmisher, even though she doesn't necessarily need the resistance. She might need the focus for clearing all the buffs on her special.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then the other thing about that, as far as like over here where she's clearing the 3 positive effects, and I'm gonna put this one where it clears all positive effects on the T4. I mean, this is one I think is a must. But it's in that weird situation, kind of like with which was it, like New Warriors? Because when Nico comes around, one of her abilities is over here. She attacks all of them, and it's like flipping deflect to negative effects. But there's something. I know that she does something. There's like a flip attack that she has if they have positive effects. So I can't remember. Maybe I'm reading into it wrong, but I don't know. Either way, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Like when you get in these lengthy battles, you just want to get all the buffs, off of the opponent. So I mean, this is an interesting team. It's kind of like a mixture of I guess a little bit of. I feel like they're kind of like a new Warriors in a sense, just kind of mixed up amongst the 4 as far as how they're attacking, and it's just gonna be something to keep playing with. But so that's on defense. I mean, so I guess the big reason why I brought them up again is that they're gonna be part of that Scourge team when you get to the node 5 and 10. They're gonna be one of your options. Now, the other part of that option is the Young Avengers, so we'll jump over to them and kind of see where you're at, your thought about them. Is this part of the teams you're working on?
That's my number 1 team I'm working on right now. I put everything else on the back burner, and the Young Avengers that I had not worked on yet are all getting love now. So everybody except for America Chavez, because she takes Mystic Gear, and I'm still out of Mystic Gear. So she's the last one that's going to get worked up. Like, I'm probably not going to work America Chavez up until we're in the Scourge event, and it's clear that Miles or somebody else is not doing as good of a job as she could.
Yeah, and what I like about it is that even like with Captain Marvel, I mean, there's going to be more theory crafting coming this Scourge event than it was on the past, right? We were limited to the 2 squads. They didn't have too much of synergy with each other. But this one here, this one seems like you'll have a lot of synergy going on.
It lends itself to a lot more theory crafting, because instead of 9 characters to choose from to do 2 nodes, you have 15.
Yep. Because the other list right here, mine's way back. You probably would laugh at this one, but I put them on the back burner. But my Inhumans, I have some work to do. But then here's Miss Marvel that kind of comes into here, and you hit on it. I mean, you just got more players. So when the news came out and you saw this roster in advance, which I appreciate Scopely doing that, so that we kind of start planning ahead a little. We can plan ahead on that event. And I actually did have a lot of fun with the event. I mean, it was a time. I don't want to call it a time waste, but it was definitely, you had to put some time into it, depending on how grindy you want to get your score up, right? But this is going to make it more exciting for me, man. Like I'm already kind of anxious for that Scourge event, and
we got 2 months or so, which is the greatest part about it. They gave us ample time to get ready for this legendary event.
Yeah. Yep. And then there's some rumors. I mean, so they say Famine is the character that's coming out, and some people are wondering if that's going to be Rogue. So we know that. Is that what you feel?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like with powers and stuff, like it makes sense that's it. They're bringing out. I mean, I guess they could not make her and just break hearts and not bring her to the game at all, and put 2 other unlimited X-Men out next month and make this Famine character somebody else. But I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be Rogue.
No, same. All right. Well, I guess these are the teams. I kind of highlighted these because these are the ones that I am personally working on. I don't know how this Inhuman team, I really haven't been using them as much as you can tell. I mean, it's 6, but I think I'll start leveling them up, start figuring out what to do because.
So if we're going to level up Inhumans, you need to just start with Yo-Yo, Black Bolt, and Crystal. That's going to be it on that team. I wouldn't put 1 ounce of anything into the other characters until later, because those 3 can go as a 3-pack, or you can bring Black Bolt and Yo-Yo as a duo. And Crystal's got the nice passive, which will heal them and clear buffs if they get under 50%. It's a little bit of survivability for the Inhumans. But of the teams, they're the third team of the 3 teams you want to work on. Like, to me, you need to have the Young Avengers the biggest, because they're your sustain team. They're the team that's going to be able to do the most and go the farthest, and maybe even clear nodes on their own. And then after that, then you want to move down to the A-Force, because they're new members, they're going to be super strong. And then with the A-Force, you could do 2 or 3 members with them. So if you did the 4 members of the A-Force and added, like a lot of people are talking about taking Yo-Yo, because there's no protector, and then her passive will ping offense down and will help that team out for your A-Force.
Yeah.
So that would be the second team I'd work on. And then the last team is going to be the Inhumans. And then I would literally only work on those 3 for the Inhumans.
Okay. Now, what about Wakanda?
And they went on, you know how excited I am about Cosmic Crucible, right? That's our first big Cosmic Crucible rework, and I do not have resources for them now. There has to be a list of priorities in your gameplay, because you can't do everything. Mm-hmm. So, my top priority has always been the next legendary tune. And it used to just be shard farming and getting character or gear 5 characters up to gear level X. Now, it's not shard farming at all, but it's making sure that I have 3 teams that can do what I want them to do on the Scourge event, so that I can try to get top 2,500 again. Mm-hmm. And I know that from our experience in the last Scourge that you make and break your run on nodes 5 and 10. And I'm sure they're going to continue that trend, where you're going to have to work your butt off. And I don't know if it's going to be harder because they're going to have 3 teams, or if they just did it because they got a lot of pushback off of the Pestilence event, because there was only 9 characters. But it's taken the Wakandans all the way off the board for me. And I have them very small, like you do. I think my Killmonger's a little bit bigger, and my Shuri's gear tier 15. We were just discussed that off air. My Shuri is a 7 red, and she changed a lot over the course of this update. So I can't see myself investing in the other 2 ones right now, because even when we get to Crucible teams, I would rather save my resources and build up the unlimited X-Men than build my old stinky Wakandans.
Yeah. No, I really understand that logic. That makes 100% sense. Okay. Well, one thing just kind of, and here's just me personally, just kind of what's adding to the balancing of like who to farm and gear up and so forth, is this right here, who I have hearted, because I'm so anxious still. On the back end, I'm still trying to get into DD5 Cosmic. And here I am jumping on nice. Boy. I'm getting this guy up. So
hey, that's a decent choice. It's not, he's cheap. I tell you what, he's cheap. And if you got Kestrel, the other ones, he'll do more damage than you'll think. Just make him striker, get some vulnerables out there. Yeah. He'll be good. I like that choice.
Yeah, I'm bringing this guy in, and I originally had, instead of Heartless and Stitcher, I had Circe and Icarus hearted. But it's just, when we talk about like the RNG gods, whatever you want to call these little special uniques for Icarus, I'm too far away from it. There's no way that I can bring him in, and I don't want to bring him in solo without the other. So I decided to go ahead and take him off. Maybe you get them for the second run, so then that's where Heartless comes in. And then plus on my Mystic, it's twofold, because now that I got one less Mystic person to bring into Cosmic, I'm going to use the Mystic gear for Morgan Le Fay as the legendary. So that's kind of where my thought process just changed up this week. I'm really on the cusp of venturing it here pretty soon. So
yeah, I already burned her to gear 16. So I have 2 Cosmic and 2 legendary characters. I did Omega Red, and then I just did Morgan Le Fay. And I know it's hard with the Mystic Crunch and stuff now, but it's been good. I've gotten, in the 3 weeks or 4 weeks since we've got all that, and I got her up to Future 16. I've dropped a lot less. If you're the more powerful your Morgan Le Fay is in arena right now, the harder it is for the mirror match to go off correctly. So I have not been disappointed with my choice in putting her to 16.
No, I wouldn't either. I mean, I'm gonna be right there too pretty soon. So once I get a little bit more of the it's like the Igor, whatever, the other unique. That's the one that I'm kind of short on the Mystic, but everything else, the Catalyst, I'm fine. Um, that was interesting. I haven't gone back into my arena and jump it. So what ranking have you been at?
23 to 28 usually is what I end at every day.
Yeah,
And before I was top 50, I have a really old Whaley arena shard. I'm a day one arena shard, so I have a lot of big name tunes from big name alliances in my arena shard.
yeah. So what kind of defensive setups are you seeing? Is it kind of all dark code, or do you see some hybrids out of it?
I either see a full Darkhold team, or like occasionally I see team rank 11 right there in the middle, but not very often. But it sucks. I see a lot of Darkhold with Dormammu now.
Yeah, you know what? I see that when I get to the top five, that's what happens too, right? They replace Scarlet Witch with Dormammu. So that's
So
funny.
that's when I just usually avoid at this point.
All right. All right. Well, let's jump into the blog post here. So let me switch into the screen. All right, I'm gonna let you kind of take the lead off of this one, buddy, because this is something that I know you've been waiting for and anxious about. And I guess so this is all the Cosmic Crucible. Well, I'm gonna save it for last a little bit here. Let's just talk about the other events that came out that's worth mentioning, as I'm gonna kind of make this shorten it up a little bit on the blog post review. But let's talk about like what is the favorite news that came out for you? I mean, besides Cosmic Crucible, where they're breaking down the stuff, but what other like what's your top three favorite news that came out of this?
My top three. I really like the in the. I don't think I understand what you're asking. In
Oh,
Cosmic
okay.
Crucible or the whole blog post?
Yeah, I guess a whole blog post. I'll start with it. I mean, like, so if I were in no particular order, I guess we could say that top three for me, like one of them is the news about the streamlining raid content, where it sounds like we're going to be able to autoplay it. So this is just like anything that kind of saves time on some of the daily grind. It's just kind of becomes mundane because it's been not so much weeks but months. Going through the same content right here, like rating on the like if this right here, and of course, it's not gonna be till next version, but that's kind of like one excitement that I got out of it. Second excitement for me that also came out of it is finally getting that level 4 blue ISO coming up. I'm excited
Definitely.
about that because anything that's going to help us on the Doom raids, because that's going to be my first focus. As soon as that comes out and we have access to level 4, I'm going to go right into my Doom raid teams and start ISOing them up. And then I guess on the third one, which again was just no particular order, but it was about the Cosmic Crucible news and them breaking down the whole aspect of it. But that's what I was kind of curious about, like overall, like what was like kind of the top three
Those would
topics.
be my top three
Yeah.
topics too. With Cosmic Crucible being number one, and then the raids being two, and then lastly being the new ions. But it's not like there's a huge gap between their placings, except for Cosmic Crucible blows everything away for me.
Yeah, yeah, no. So we'll jump onto it. So go ahead and tell me what's your overall breakdown. Like, how are you preparing for it? I guess will be my first question for you. After having the news, what do you do on your daily farming and team setup? Like, what do you feel like you need to start preparing for?
I'm doing nothing extra with my daily farming, and I'm doing nothing extra with my team setup right now. What I'm thinking about is that I need 6 defensive teams and a minimum of 6 offensive teams.
Hmm.
So I'm looking at my war roster, and I'm looking specifically at teams in my war roster with no war boosts because they're not going to get those in Crucible. And then I'm looking at the war boosts and I'm deciding which teams lose all viability because of their war boosts and which teams actually retain a lot of their viability. Like, let's just, for example, put Heroes for Hire versus Young Avengers. Heroes for Hire on defense in Cosmic Crucible is going to be garbage.
Hmm.
There's going to be no charges. You're going to go in, you're going to wipe them out. So you're going to do something different with your Heroes for Hire team. Most likely, you're going to take your Shang-Chi and you're going to throw him on a hybrid offense team or some different hybrid defense team because you're going to be able to cut the fat off of all your war stuff. But Young Avengers, on the other hand, that's a 5-pack that has war callouts in their kits, but they work very well without all those war buffs. They're going to still be a tough defense to run your face into because a lot of your big counters are not going to work anymore. And because of the new Scourge event, people are going to start building them, and they're going to have a big young Avengers to throw on their defense. So I'm thinking of cutting all the fat from my war roster and making it a lean, mean Cosmic Crucible machine, I guess is what I'm saying. So I'm going to take my 24 war teams and cut them down to 12 or 14 and concentrate all of my TCP and my power and my best new teams right there. And then that's going to be your ammunition for this. So it leads to a lot more theory crafting because we're so used to war, and we have a bunch of cookie cutter teams that we put here and here and here and here. Well, now you only have 6 instead of 10. There's only so many attacks, so your attack roster just got leaner, so that means that you have more options of teams that you used to only use for attack, and you can put them on defense. I'm super excited for what's going on. And I'm used to what's happening because I play Galaxy of Heroes still, so I'm used to the Swiss style system. I'm 99% sure I know how the mini tournaments are going to work and how it's all going to work because it's just a carbon copy basically of what Galaxy Heroes does with Grand Arena.
So on off of that theory crafting you're talking about on the defensive side, is it correct? Like right now I'm looking at the screenshot where it kind of shows the opponent's like defensive setups right here. Are they going to show you all 6, or they're showing you 3 at a time?
It's hard to say. From the play tests that the content creators did, they said that there was no fog of war, that you could see all of your opponent's defenses, which it takes a lot of the theory crafting and the mystery out of your defensive setup and stuff like that, besides the individual rooms with the individual room buffs that they're going to get. It would be better, in my opinion, if you could see 2 teams, and then as you cleared teams, you could see more. Yeah. Or if they did it like a triangle, like one up front, and when you beat the one up front, you could see the 2 behind it, and then when you beat either side of the 2 behind it, you could see the other ones, 2 of the other 3 that go behind it. But I don't know. It's what's nice is that they've come out and they've given themselves a lot of wiggle room by calling this preseason and saying that, look, we know there's going to be some kinks that we're going to have to iron out, and this is not going to be the finished product. It's going to take probably a few patches, maybe a year, to get it ironed out to where it's a nice, extremely smooth thing where most players are happy. But making everybody happy is not going to happen. We're going to have a lot of. It's going to be like Galaxy Heroes. We're going to have a lot of complaints from a lot of people showing screenshots of their TCP versus their opponent's TCP, and how unfair this game mode is, and how it's not fun, and how the game. But people just need to be patient and let the ELO system work itself out, and it'll be a much better experience in a few months.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to start talking to you leading up to it as far as showing you some defensive setups that I'm gonna start tinkering with, because I think that's the biggest thing that you just hit on, that I think everybody needs to take away from your thought process, is start really leaning out your war rosters, both offense and defensively, and really kind of figuring out the overall 12 setup. Which 6 are you going to put on defense and what 6 you're going to have on offense, and starting kind of getting that ready. Because I mean, we only have Tuesday, I think, is when it's rolling out sometime, or whenever the 11th is. So yeah, so I'm definitely going to be doing that, later on this evening during my downtime. So I'll start hitting you up with some screenshots, kind of getting your idea, and then at least I know with you and I, we're pretty open to, like, I'll even set it up on my current war defense so you can kind of have a chance to attack, and vice versa. If there's any defensive guys that you haven't set up, you let me know and I'll try to attack and see how we start practicing on that. But it's exciting. I mean, this is part of the game that I really love doing. I love the whole looking at the rosters and starting to kind of trying to make a little a hybrid team, and kind of seeing how you can beef up your defense and kind of go off that theory and see how it works into the actual game mode itself. Cool. What other takeaways, do you have about this? Because honestly, I haven't read into all the details here, but we talk about the defensive setup. About the offensive side, is that kind of like are you setting up your defense first, and then whatever's left over on offense is what you're gonna keep, or are you doing offense first and then?
This is just like war. So you're not going to win putting your best tunes on defense and having nothing for your offense. This is going to be where we have big enough rosters, you and I, that our advantage is going to be to go between offense and defense and look at what we have as our total roster overall and be like, what could they put on their defense that I can't beat, and I need to make sure that I can beat it. So if I can't beat an Infinity Watch without my Infinity Watch, I certainly don't want to put my Infinity Watch on defense because I need to be able to beat that. If I need my Eternals to beat a young Avengers team, I don't want to put my Eternals on defense because I need to have them to beat that team. So there's gonna be a lot of choices out there, and there's only 6. So we're used to having 10 to look at for our own defense and 10 to look at for our own attacks. So now your Weapon X, you're gonna look at hard, and you're gonna be like, is this? Do I really? They don't get their war bonuses, so it's not gonna matter. Weapon X is still gonna be a top tier team, but are they gonna be more dangerous in a defensive room or in an offensive room? And if my opponent chooses to put them there, how am I going to beat them?
Gotcha. Okay.
So for me, it's easier in Galaxy Heroes because at Galaxy Heroes I can immediately look at my opponent's roster.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as we get into the match, I can look at their roster and I can see what they have and I can plan how I'm going to do things. I'm hoping that Strike Force does something similar to that, but until then, you just have to guess by their TCP about what kind of scary teams they could or couldn't have, and then figure out what kind of person is behind the wheel of that account. It's like I said, all of this stuff is going to work itself out. Everybody's going to have nothing but complaints after the first iteration of this. People are going to come out, the sky is falling, it's the worst thing ever. And all I can say to that is it's going to be fun, and you just have to give it time to work itself out. I've seen it happen before in other games.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's the way I'm gonna kind of wrap that up, man. I mean, I'm ready for it. And like you said, just be patient. The kinks are gonna be there. Well, obviously, we know the kinks are gonna be there. We see it almost on every single patch updates. There's always some type of issues, but in the long run, it should work itself out. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here for the show. I'll hit you up here, Darth. But thanks you all, for watching this, and just stay tuned. This is gonna be exciting, and just can't wait for it. So thanks. See y'all, and we'll catch up on next Sunday, summarizing what we like, dislike, and we'll kind of start digesting everything come next Sunday. So stay tuned for that. All right, bye bye.